Hey, YPRS Nation. Welcome to another episode of You People Ray Speaks. Today is part 3 of my series, What Genre? I'm going to go over 5 more genres that you should consider when writing your manuscript. Now, just like I did in the last 2 videos, I am going to list the genre and give you a brief description. Then I'm going to give you an example of a book that falls in that category. And at the end of this video, I am going to put the spotlight on an author who has a book in one of the genres that we've covered. So, if this is your first time here, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Caroline Smiley, and I am a book editor. I work with authors who have a desire to amplify the voice of the Black and Brown community in genres where we are underrepresented. Okay. Before I get into the genres, I just want to put this disclaimer out there for all the authors whose books I reference in this video. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Names are beautiful, unique, and wonderful, and then sometimes I just mess them up. So if I chop up your name, please accept my sincerest apology. Okay, so we are up to number 10 of the list of genres. So number 10 is historical fiction. Now, an historical fiction, I can't talk today. An historical fiction is set in the past decades, and the background is usually against a real historical event or events. And a good example of a historical fiction is called The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America, and this is by Ibram X. Kendi. And number 11 is memoirs. Now, memoirs are self-reflections, and they usually focus on a key moment or key moments in the author's life that they would like to use to convey a specific message to their target audience. The example of a memoir that I'm using here is What Kind of Girl by Caroline Kautsire. Caroline, I know I messed that up. I apologize. Number 12 on our list is poetry. Now, poetry usually is writing that has a rhythm, and lots of times it can be set to music, to a beat. And then we have the poetry that rhymes. So, the fat cat ate the rat. God, that's terrible. But it works for the example that I'm trying to give to you. So yeah, poetry usually kind of draws you in and usually is like you can go along with it, but not all poetry, but we find that a lot in poetry. Now and this is what makes it memorable, right? Because if you're rhyming, for whatever reason, our brain tends to remember things like that easily. So the example for this is one of my favorite authors and poet, Maya Angelou, and the book is called The Complete Poetry, which is a compilation of some of her poems. Number 13? Number 13 is essays. Now, essays are usually written in first person and they're based on personal experiences. And in a book of essays, what you'll find is that the author is typically using the essay or essays as social commentary, and it highlights or critiques certain aspects of society. A good read in this category is Well-Read Black Girl, Finding Our Stories, Discovering Ourselves by Glory Edem. The final genre that I'll be going over today is short stories. And just as the name suggests, this is a compilation of short stories, and they tend to entail other genres, but they are very brief scenes that are based on a specific theme. So the author is writing very short scenes, but all throughout this short story book, you'll find a theme, a common theme. And the example that I'll use here is How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. So The 5 genres that we went over today are historical fictions, memoirs, poetry, essay, short stories. Now, if you have a manuscript that you are ready to take from idea to bestseller, then click on the link below this video and book your free 15-minute discovery call with me today. Also below this video is a link to my free e-guide that is called How to Go from Penned to Published in 5 Steps. Yes, I realize that I do things in 5 steps a lot, and I'm not sure why. It just is what it is, even though now that I realize it, I feel like I need to go research and figure out why I do it, things like that. Okay, so let's jump into spotlight on the author. So today's author is Caroline Kautsire. And again, Caroline, if I say this incorrectly, please forgive me. And her book is called What Kind of Girl? And this is a memoir that touches on her life growing up in Africa. And it's a great read. So there are 2 links below the video. That one will take you out to Amazon, and the other will take you to another website where you can purchase Caroline's book. Now, this was Caroline's first published book, so I asked her to give me some advice that I could share with you for first-time authors. And this is what she said. And of course, I'm going to read it. I urge anyone pursuing writing to find the strength to use their voice in the purest and most honest way. There is power in weaving narratives that help people understand the world better. There is power in raising awareness about things that go unnoticed. Therefore, we must seize the opportunity to write as a means of impacting the world. Let us read and write as often as possible to become better writers, and let us create stories and expressions that deepen our readers' lives through the powerful words we choose to use. Finally, the publishing industry can be very challenging, but I think the key is to try to connect with other writers who have already published material before. They say success leaves clues, and instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, budding writers can follow the footsteps of those who have already made it. So, if you like this video and you want to see more content from me, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you will be made aware every time I upload a video. Before I go, if you are an author, or if you know of any authors who would like to be featured in the Spotlight on the Author section, please go ahead and drop me an email at contact@carolinesmiley.com. That is also below this video, and I will talk to you about highlighting your work, your historical fiction, memoir, poetry, essay, short story in one of my upcoming videos. Until next time, happy writing.